have, before we finish, we sketch two pyramids, and they have different information given to you. First of all, they are square pyramids. Okay, sometimes you may meet rectangle at the bottom, like the base is a rectangle. It's still using the same way to do it, but it's a little bit harder compared to this one. But we go through an easy one first. It's not very good. Identical triangles there. Okay, so one square base and four identical triangles. So if you think about the net of this graph, we'll have triangle like this times that by 4, and we also have a square base. Okay, we also have a square base. So the information given to you is L is the length of the rectangle. Okay, L is the length of the square. And for the triangle, we know that the base must be L as well. The base must be L as well. And also the good thing is giving you the H. What is the H? The H is just the height for this isosceles triangle. This is isosceles triangle because they are identical and the lines needs to be the same length. So we will have 4 isosceles triangle with base L and height H. So if you think about the square, the area of the square is just L squared. Okay, L squared. And if you think about the triangle, it will be a half base times height, which is L times H. But there are 4 such triangles. You need to times that by 4 as well. Okay, there are 4 such triangles, so you need to times that by 4 as well. Therefore, if you simplify that, that's 2LH. Okay, 2LH. That is just what we have here. Okay, 2LH. Okay, it's a half base times height, but we have 4 such triangles. We need to times the area by 4. So we have 2LH. And then we have plus L squared. L squared is just the area for the base. Okay, this is the square, so L squared. So it's the area for the base. But there are another case. Okay, we still have 4 triangles and 1 square. Okay, the same square. That times by 4 and another square. But in the second one, what we know is that the base, we still know the base because it's the same as the square. But what we don't know is the height of the triangle. What we only know is the slant height here. This is the slant height. We use S. We know that length. Okay, we know that length. What we can do to find the height? Anyone got any idea? Or you can see from the formula why there's such complicated formula. Yep, it's Morgan. Pesach. So how you can use Pesach? Yeah, do you mean draw the height first? Yep, draw the height. Okay, we have the height here. And then we have this is a right angle triangle, okay? Half of that is a right angle triangle. What's this length? What's this length? Half of L, that's right, because it's isosceles triangles, when we draw the height to the base, it will be half of the base, okay? So cut the base into half. So half L. So now if you think about this H, so A squared plus B squared will give you S squared using Pesach. Okay, so it's not a right angle triangle, but we can cut it into half and make it to a right angle triangle. So what we will know is H squared plus L over 2 squared equals to S squared. Okay, that's by using Pesach. So H squared will be S squared minus L over 2 squared. Because I want to know what is H in terms of S and L. Okay, S and L is the number. Okay, we know the number, like it's given. So you know what is the slant height, you know what is the length. So H equals to the square root of S squared minus L over 2 squared. Okay, H equals to square root. s squared minus L over 2 squared. So now we know the height by using the length and the slant height. So therefore, we can see the formula compared to above. So this h, instead of h, we know s and L. So they are equivalent. Okay, they are equivalent. So, okay, now we know the h. Then it back to the first case. Instead of that h, we have this complex expression here, but it's just a Passec. Okay, that's just a Passec rule. So that's how we find the total surface area for the pyramid. Okay, for the pyramid. And there's a little bit special one. We don't need to find the reason for it, but it will be a sphere. Okay, so like if we can draw it, we can just draw a circle and make a center here and draw it a little bit 3-dimension shape like this. That will be a sphere. That's how I sketch for it. So we have something like that. This is like a little bit different because it's not straight lines, it's all curves. So someone investigated that. Okay, obviously it's not me. I don't know how to investigate on that. But like when you cut all that into pieces and put together in a 2-dimension, they give you 4 pi r squared exactly. So 4 pi r squared. So what's the r? R is like, it's a ball. So you have a center. So from that center to anywhere you touch any part of the surface, that will be the radius. Okay, you have a lot of radius, infinite many radius. So I will say here is the radius. Okay, from the center to touch the surface of the ball, that will be the radius. So 4 pi r squared will give you the surface area of a ball. Okay, we'll talk about the volume later. So because we already learning the surface area, so I just put this special one for you. It will come in the later of the exercise, but it's just a formula. We just need to know that r, like the radius of the sphere, and then we will know the surface area of it. Okay, so I want you to spend 5 minutes on those 2 questions. Okay, try those questions by yourself and we go through that together. Okay, so this exercise and this exercise give you 5 minutes. Okay, so from this question, what you need to see from the main question is there's no instructions to say you need to keep how many decimal places, which means your answer must be in exact form. Okay, exact answer. That's the first problem I see when I go around, and a lot of you give 2 decimal places, which also is correct, but like it's not exact. Okay, so you lose 1 mark for that. Okay, so you lose 1 mark because it's not exact form. And you see this is a composite shape. We put something on top of other things. So the 2 face will hide and then we lose 2 face. So with surface area is actually smaller than 2 separate objects. So for the first one is quite easy because we have a cuboid at the bottom. So 3, 3, 3. So we can find the surface area 5 square. 5 square. Okay, we have 5 square there. So use 5 times 3 times 3. That's the bottom. And then we can see 4 identical triangles there. 4 identical triangles there. The triangle got base 3. All of these 4 triangles got base 3 and height 3. So it's 4 times a half, 3 times 3. Okay, half 3 times 3 is 1 triangle's area. We have 4 such triangles, so it's 4 times half, 3 times 3. We got 63, and the unit is centimeter square. Okay, the unit is centimeter square. Be aware of the unit. If this unit is centimeter, the other unit is meters. So you know that you need to convert the unit before you calculate that. Okay, the second one is a little bit tricky. Okay, why is it a little bit tricky? First of all, let's have a look. This is like cone and prism. It's rectangular prism. So we lose the base. And also it hides a circle, like the base circle. Like you need to reduce the base circle from the rectangular prism. So first of all, this rectangular prism is a special one because one side is 2 times 2. Okay, one side is 2 times 2. So therefore, when you expand that, you will have 2 square and 4 rectangle. But those 4 rectangles will be identical rectangles. Okay, will be 4 identical rectangles. Let's say why? Because you all have width 2 and length 7. So it's all width 2, length 7, width 2, length 7, and width 2, length 7, and the bottom width 2 and length 7. So there are 4 identical triangles. So you can use 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is the area of the square. We have 2 squares. We have 4 rectangles. The rectangle is 7 times 2. That's 4 rectangles. Also, we have this sector. Okay, if we expand that, that's a sector. So the sector got formula pi rs. So pi rs. We know the slant height is 5, but what's the r? Like what's the radius? We can see this is a circle touching the 2 ends of this rectangle. So this length is 2. Okay, so the diameter is 2. Okay, the diameter is 2. If you move that to here, the diameter is 2. So we have to half it to make radius 1. Okay, the radius is actually 1. So that's 2. That's diameter is 2. So half of that is the radius. Radius is 1. So pi rs. So it's pi times 1 times 5. But it hasn't finished because we lose a circle area on this rectangle. We need to subtract pi r squared for that circle. That's where it covered. So we have 8 plus 56 plus 5 pi and minus pi. Got 64 plus 4 pi. You must keep the answer in that form. Okay, you don't expand it like 3.14, give me 79 point something. You don't do that. So keep your answer in that form. Okay, so do not change your answer. That's the exact value. Any questions regarding to those two? No? Okay, so you can use the rest of the time to do some of your homework. We need to finish up to exercise 6E today. Okay, tomorrow class, I will give you some time, Friday class, give you some time to do 6E as well. Okay, so you have a whole class period to do that exercise.